Welcome to Wind Masters Croatia. In today's episode, we bring you real treats for die-hard sailors who love to explore beautiful old Mediterranean towns, breathtaking beaches and coves, and of course, great food and local wine. The islands of Central Dalmatia that we will show you will surely satisfy even the most discerning adventurers. Make yourself comfortable and anchors away. The island of Hvar, the king among the Dalmatian islands, has been known since ancient times for its important strategic and nautical position, cultural and sacred monuments, and above all, its natural beauty. Thanks to its mild climate, warm winters and pleasant summers, it hosts numerous guests, scientists and aspiring travelers who are attracted by the luxurious Mediterranean nature, rich tradition, and nightlife. Today, Hvar is considered one of the 10 most beautiful islands in the world. Boaters will find their piece of paradise in the beautiful town of Jelsa, which stretches from the north to the south coast of the island of Hvar. Due to its extremely indented coast with numerous bays and islets, it is an ideal destination for sailors, especially in the evening hours when many of them tie up to the waterfront in Jelsa, eagerly waiting to get off the ship to the party or one of the excellent nearby restaurants or bars. Due to its elongated shape and location, the harbor is extremely well protected from wind and ships are completely safe here. Jelsa is an old settlement whose remains go back far into the past. During the Middle Ages, the island was visited by numerous adventurers, naturalists, ethnologists, and archaeologists who studied plants, minerals, and ancient monuments. Walking through the old streets with numerous houses and details from the past is a real pleasure. The most pleasant walks are along the coast, through pine forests, shady groves, well-kept roads and paths, as well as picturesque villages scattered on the hills and in the valleys, full of Mediterranean vegetation and medicinal plants, where the rural architecture of narrow streets and squares is well preserved. In the Jelsa Municipal Museum, visitors are presented with the interior of a townhouse from the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. Just in front of the museum is the Square of St. Ivan, the most beautiful Renaissance Baroque square in the town. Here is an octagonal church from the end of the 17th century. The church is characterized by a variety of stylistic features: Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque. The square and the streets surrounding it were shaped from the 15th to the 17th centuries and represent the most architecturally preserved part of Jelsa, together with the homes built from the 16th to the 20th centuries with Renaissance dormer windows and balconies. One of the more interesting traditions is the procession of the cross, which has been taking place uninterruptedly for 5 centuries. The procession starts every year on Maundy Thursday at exactly 10 p.m., with 6 processions leaving simultaneously from 6 parish churches in the central part of the island. The islet of Ščedro is anchored along the southern coast of the island of Hvar. Protected as a nature park, In its pristine beauty with many hidden coves, it offers an exceptional experience to every visitor. And once you feel the charms of these quiet coves, their intoxicating scents, with the crystal clear sea sparkling in the summer sun, you will want to stay forever. The bays of Ščedro have been known since ancient times as good anchorages and safe harbors. And some of the most famous battles were fought in this area, such as the one between Pompey and Caesar in 49 BC, as evidenced by numerous finds in the seas below. Next to the deep, narrow bay is the smallest town on the island, Vrboska, whose Vela and Mola Bonda are connected by picturesque stone bridges, which is why it is rightly called Little Venice. Surrounded by a dense pine forest with its small bridges, paved streets, and Renaissance and Gothic houses on both sides of the bay, which is adorned by an island in its middle, it is a sight that will leave few unimpressed. Stone houses reflected in the water and peacefully anchored fishing boats bathed in the sun give this place a special charm and intimate warmth. Vrboska is the town best known for fishing on the island, as evidenced by the rich collection of the Fishing Museum. The old fishing village is today a tourist town that conquers every visitor with its beauty, numerous sights, and serenity that exudes from every corner. Numerous works of art are held in the church fortress and the Church of St. Lovro. Vrboska is a real treat for all lovers of cultural sites and is certainly an unmissable destination for sightseeing the island's cultural heritage. We accepted an invitation to a local tasting of food and wine at the Aci Marina Vrboska. Of course, there is the unmissable song of local male and female a cappella choirs, Klapa. The Aci Marina Vrboska is situated in a deep, secure bay on the north part of the island of Hvar. Due to its perfect position, it offers safe shelter and berths, with 119 spots and all the amenities. Boats up to 35 meters in length can be anchored in the marina. There's a petrol station here as well, which is sure to delight motorboat owners since there aren't many around. The Vrboska Local Folklore Society were kind enough to present us with their traditional dance of the region. We are certainly feeling the heat and can't quite imagine what it must be like for them in their layered folk costumes. We arrive in Stari Grad, the oldest known city in Croatia, founded in 384 BC. According to written records, it was founded by colonists from the Greek island of Paros, who called it Faros. During the Renaissance, Stari Grad was a rural settlement of Hvar nobles. One of the most famous poets and builders of the time, Petar Hektorović, built the beautiful Tvrdalj Palace, which is still the most famous and most beautiful building in the old town. He built it throughout his long life, and it was as important to him as his literary work. In it, he accomplished creating a microcosm, a small, closed world in which all of God's creatures have space to live: fish, birds, plants, and people. The biggest attraction of Tvrdalj is undoubtedly its pond with brackish water inhabited by mullet. The pond was probably created on the remains of an ancient sacred pool or port facility. Behind the pond, towards the south, stretches a carefully tended lawn. In the 17th and 18th centuries, many Baroque buildings and churches were built in the city, which gave it its present appearance. In the 19th century, Stari Grad was an important port with a large fleet of its own sailing ships. The most beautiful city square, called Škor, is located on the site of the former shipyard, after which it was named. When the shipyard stopped working at the end of the 17th century, the shoal was filled in and houses were built upon it. Beautiful, picturesque facades are the backdrop for numerous cultural events in the summer months. Middle Street was the lifeblood of the old town, the main commercial and economic center. Romantic courtyards and beautiful gardens are hidden behind high walls. The remains of Roman mosaics can be seen in many of them. After Stari Grad, we sailed to Hvar, a town that has become a popular gathering place for the world's jet set in recent years. Located in a beautiful bay on the western side of the island of Hvar, sheltered by the Pakleni Islands, the town of Hvar is a favorite nautical destination and a safe harbor for numerous mega yachts. It is assumed that the ancient Greek city of Heraclea was on the site of today's Hvar in the 4th century BC. With the fall of Syracuse in 1219 BC, the island was ruled by the Romans. In the 11th century, the town of Hvar was part of the Croatian state. In 1278, under the influence of Venice, the town of Hvar became the center of the island and the diocese. Until the very end of the Venetian Republic in 1797, Hvar was under its rule as one of the most important ports on the eastern coast of the Adriatic. In the 16th century, there was a 4-year rebellion of the commoners against the nobles, which was bloodily suppressed with the help of Venice. In 1571, the island of Hvar was attacked by the Turks. In 1579, there was a large explosion of gunpowder in the city fortress, which caused great destruction in the city. After the fall of Venice, the city was ruled by the Austrians, with a short period of French administration. The beginnings of tourism in Hvar date back to 1868, when a group of prominent Hvar residents led by Bishop Juraj Duboković founded a professional tourist association called the Hygienic Society of Hvar. In 1900, the Queen Elizabeth Spa Hotel was opened, today's Palace Hotel. The main town square, Hvarska Piazza, is a favorite meeting place and promenade. Many restaurants and cafes are located here, but of course, the prices here are highest. The square is also home to the impressive Hvar Cathedral, which you must visit. The Hvar Theater was founded in 1612 and is one of the oldest theaters in Europe. Above Hvar is the Španjola fortress. This well-preserved fortification was built in the middle of the 16th century. You can go up to it by a path and stairs from the city center, or take a car along an excellent road.
Nautički turizam ove godine također, s obzirom na povećanu potražnju, bilježi izvrsne brojke u ukupnom hrvatskom turizmu. Naime, ove godine smo do sada ostvarili preko 2,6 milijuna noćenja u nautičkom čarteru, a poznato je da je Hrvatska jedna od najznačajnijih, najvećih čarter velesila u svjetskim razmjerima. Turisti koji dolaze i borave na čarter plovilima dolaze iz naših najvažnijih emitivnih tržišta, to su Njemačka, Austrija, Češka, Velika Britanija, SAD, i u tom smislu Hrvatska je i na tim tržištima dodatno pokazala da je zaista jedna nautička velesila. Zbog toga ćemo i u novoj strategiji, odnosno strateškom marketinškom planu hrvatskog turizma posebnu pozornost posvetiti nautičkom turizmu, promocije nautike i još boljem pozicioniranju Hrvatske kao nautičke turističke zemlje.
Okay, now we are in position of sailing Broad Reach, which is a position of sailing where wind is coming 45 degrees on our stern. So how can we know that we are in Broad Reach? If we go too much away from the wind, the rear part of the front sail will start falling down. Now we will force it. We will try to find that. Okay, now we can see how it's falling down. Now it's falling down. Okay, that tell us that we gotta go a little bit up to catch some wind. Okay, we're getting up. And now it's full again. It's up. If we go too much in the wind, the front sail will start flapping, as we can see. Okay, now it's flapping. That's the indicator that we gotta go away from the wind. Once it's still and once we get perfect shape, we know that we are in position of sailing Broad Reach. In that position, sails are released. They are not tight. Okay, now we got position.
Opposite the town of Hvar is one of the most beautiful archipelagos for sailing and enjoyment for boaters, the Pakleni Islands. The Azure Sea and only a few small settlements and bathing spots are a paradise for everyone who wants peace far from the summer crowds. There is also a haven for sailors, the Marina Palmigiana. It is located in the cove of the same name on the northeastern side of St. Clement, the largest of the Pakleni Islands. The marina is seasonal and is open from the beginning of April to the end of October. In addition to 180 moorings in the sea, it offers numerous other facilities to its guests. A restaurant and cafe, pavilion with massage, a grocery store, children's playground, and a bocce court. Excellent sanitary facilities, and Wi-Fi. The maximum length of boats that can enter the marina is 40 meters. The rest of the archipelago is within easy reach from here. From Palmigiana, it's easy to set off to explore numerous hidden bays and isolated beaches that will take your breath away. Palmigiana is an ideal refuge for anyone who wants to escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. If you still want a crazy night out or sightseeing, the town of Hvar is only 2.5 nautical miles away. The island of Šolta is only 5 nautical miles from Split and less than half a mile from the neighboring island of Brač. The island has been inhabited since prehistoric times, and remnants of its rich past can be found all over the island. In addition to numerous old churches and remains from ancient history, Šolta is certainly best known for its indented, beautiful bays, especially on the southern side of the island. The coves are excellent for anchoring and all-day swimming and pleasure. And in the restaurants located in them, you can eat excellent food as well as drink the local wine of the island of Šolta, Dobričić. The oldest and largest settlement on the island is the village of Grohote. It has always been the economic and administrative center of the island. The town of Stomorska, with its combination of old and new, takes us back to the era when fishermen lived here and sold their fresh catch on the waterfront early in the morning. Today, this small fishing village has only 250 inhabitants, who are mainly engaged in tourism, but the fishing tradition has not disappeared. At the nearby fish farm, mullet and sea bass are bred. Maslinica is the only Šolta settlement located in a cove on the west coast of the island. It is characterized by the natural contours of the landscape, which in addition to the picturesque bay also include the pine forest on the south side, and the immediate surroundings with the deep, well-sheltered Šešula Bay and an archipelago of 7 islets. The sea around Šolta abounds in interesting diving locations that are relatively shallow and therefore accessible to almost all categories of divers. Be sure to take the opportunity to explore sunken shipwrecks, coral walls, and underwater caves. Our destination today is one of the most distant and most prominent islands in the Adriatic, the island of Vis. The first settlement on the island, named Isa, was founded by Greek colonists from Syracuse in Sicily in the 4th century BC. Ancient Isa developed into an urban and economic center of this part of the Adriatic, and because of its exceptional strategic position, also as a very important military stronghold. Isa was a polis, that is, a city-state. Its strength is evidenced by the fact that it founded its own colonies on nearby islands. While walking through the city, you will come across many interesting shops and stalls with local specialties and delicacies. And one that you must try is hib, fig cake. This traditional Vis delicacy was created in ancient times. It is made from figs, aromatic herbs, almonds, homemade brandy, and other ingredients. It is preserved in dry laurel and rosemary leaves, which give it an additional aroma. It goes best with the local herbal brandy. The interior of the island is covered with green vineyards that produce extremely sweet grapes. Thanks to the abundance of sun and water sources that irrigate the fields, the conditions for growing vines are ideal. In the evening, Vis slowly fills up with numerous sailboats and yachts that find their overnight accommodation and safe harbor in the Bay of St. George. Many sailors enjoy walking along the waterfront and visiting the wonderful restaurants in Vis that compete in top-quality local cuisine. Regardless of which restaurant in Vis you choose for dinner, you certainly can't go wrong. Komiža is located on the western side of the island of Vis in a deep bay. It is separated from the rest of the island by the Hum mountain massif, which descends steeply to the shores of the bay. Its position and the associated lack of agricultural land determined the orientation of Komiža towards the sea and fishing. Komiža is a younger settlement than neighboring Vis. One of the theories about the origin of its name says that it came from the word Kom Isa, which literally means a place near Isa, an ancient settlement on the site of today's Vis. Under Venetian rule, Komiža, together with Vis, belonged to the Hvar municipality and rapidly developed as a fishing center in this part of the Adriatic. It was an economic branch that enabled the construction of churches, forts, and large houses in Komiža, and brought wealth to Hvar and Venice itself. Fish and crab specialties are offered in numerous restaurants and catering establishments. We recommend that you definitely try the excellent lobster dishes, for which the island is famous. We're sailing towards the small island of Biševo, 5 kilometers away from Vis. Its area is only 6 square kilometers, and it is almost uninhabited. It is known for its beautiful sandy beaches, coves, and natural phenomena, caves. Porat Bay is one of the most beautiful sandy beaches on the island. The warm, clean, and shallow sea makes it very attractive for swimming and playing in the shallows. Refreshments can be found at the beach bar and nearby restaurant, so it's ideal for a whole day of family swimming. We hope you enjoyed this episode and got some ideas for your next sailing trip. If you're looking for something different, in the next episode, we will take you to a natural paradise. The national parks of Krka and Kornati, the beautiful island of Murter, the center of family tourism Vodice, and of course, the beautiful city of Šibenik. We wish you smooth sailing, and remember, a man is never lost at sea.